What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy. Had a strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, and awesome. All right, everybody, October 28th, 2024, in a good old Monday transparency video here. And in this video, I'm just going to be thanking the Lord and just looking back at the journey over these years so far. I mean, it feels like it's been longer than what it's been, but it's just so peaceful right now, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, I've been sharing community posts, if you've been seeing them, like every week, telling y'all like, oh, I just feel this happiness and this peace. After everything that I've been through thus far, I don't feel the weight of it. And I know my calling is not light, but there's just this peace and there's just this happiness that's living inside of me is what it feels like. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm just so happy and at rest with God. Like all this stuff is happening, but I'm just kind of like, I'm in the queue, just sitting here and waiting. All right. How's your day going, Father? Like, it's just this peace. I don't know how it's like, this is the happiest I've been in my entire life, even through trial. And I can't even make this up, y'all. Like this, when I tell you I love God so much, and this is the part where I want to start off thanking the Father. Thank you, Father, for being here through every single trial. Even through the things y'all didn't get to see me go through, even the behind the scenes of what people thought they knew. Like, God has been so good. He will never let anything sneak up on me, but he won't tell you every detail, right? But he told you in a brief manner what was coming. And that's just, he takes care of you as his child. And Father, I just thank you for your heart, for everything, for just being here and pulling me out to be and creating the character you've built in me to be who you called me to be today, y'all. Like, I'm not waiting to walk my purpose. I'm walking it today. And that's not crazy to say, you know, sometimes we got to sit and process that, but I am just so thankful for God. I remember, you know, the Lord shows his presence to us in a certain way. Like he allows us to see his glory, him. And basically so that I could interact with him, because I was having like a vision of the throne. And I'll never forget this. And I shared this in the community post as well. So basically I was standing in front of Jesus, okay, so that I could interact with the heart of God. And he took my hand and he placed it over this brightness towards his heart. And it was so hot I had to move my hand after a couple of like seconds. But that showed the intensity of his love. I was like, I felt his heart. When I tell you I love God so much, it's like the closer and closer and closer and closer you get with him over the course of the journey, it just gets, you love him more and more and more and more. And when I tell you I am sold out for God, I'm so thankful for being out of this world. I am so thankful. I'm so thankful to have this understanding, because I watch people walk around and they just don't know. What can you tell them? You know, God's going to have to show them. But I just, going back to 2 years ago, 2022, I just remember the Lord pulling me out of my job and not allowing me to transfer to the next stage in classes because he told me that wasn't his will for my life. And then just going and him pointing out the significance of my calling without me really fully understanding all the things that he had. 2 years later, being today, I get it, you know. But he was really in those moments before any of you knew me. Like, it's just, for the first time, it was a lot of the first time me hearing God, the first time of me having certain dreams and visions that I ain't never had before. Angel encounters, like lessons that I ain't never ran into in my life, and encounters and situations. That was one of the best times in the journey, is the beginning. So never skip that part. It's great now. All of it's great. But because it was the first time doing it and you weren't used to it, it was some of the best. But they get better than best. That's the crazy part. So, throughout the course of time, God accelerated me very quickly and gave me a lot of understanding. And I just remember him telling me, when I asked him, okay, is there a church you want me to go to? He was telling me, there's no one around you that can teach you what I'm trying to teach you. And I didn't quite understand that at first. I didn't get it until later, as I began to operate under my calling, that there's a lot of people that don't understand what a real relationship is like with God, let alone to be this close. And I say that humbly, they don't. So how could I be taught that by another person that doesn't understand, right? So God made it very clear that he was my mentor. He made it very clear, but he surrounded me around people who could help me in different ways and would understand me, right? Would be able to pour into me and add on to me. And I'm so grateful for those people very much, because this journey has not been easy. And I just want people to understand, a lot of people go, hey, I want that voice. Hey, I wish that I could have what you had. And I tell them, listen, this is not as easy as what you think. You're not sitting down just drinking tea and eating cookies with Jesus, right? This is responsibility. There are a lot of people that email me for different reasons, whether they be the right or the wrong reasons. I get attacked in a lot of different ways, and we're going to talk about that with trials and look back on some things. But there's a lot to this, right? And a lot of people don't understand the responsibility aspect. And if you really think about it, if you think about the different categories, the faithful church, the dead church, which teaches witchcraft and so forth, false doctrine, the lukewarm church, one foot in the world and one foot in the church, and the world, the whole population on earth, there's not a lot of people that can sit and tell you that they can hear the audible voice of the Lord on a consistent basis, but God does communicate in different ways. And that makes everybody's journey special and different, right? But God had given me something that not a lot of people have. And the acceleration and the quickness. So once God had given me the platform, and it's funny because I wanted one, I asked him for one. He was basically telling me, like, people are not going to be nice to you when you first start. He told me right before, and I remember telling y'all this in previous videos, but I refreshed the page and it went from like 55 to 100 to 300. And now we at 6,000, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, I got a very not so warm welcome, and it was fantastic. I loved it, because I was prepared. I was dealing with worldly people and people from the church. And a lot of people didn't know who I was, right? So going into my first correction video, I'll never forget just the way people would speak to me. I'm like, are these people crazy? This is how they talk to people? But it was God teaching me how to have the patience to deal with different attitudes, because in person, there is no blocking comments and all this other stuff. So just teaching me how to deal with different attitudes and how to keep the right heart posture even when being disrespected is important. And I thank the Father for that, because it's helped me with my family. It's helped me with people on this YouTube space, people with the platforms. It's really helped me understand why things are happening. It's not the person. It's the enemy trying to take advantage of the person and what the gateways are open through a person. And I get that. I'm thankful for God teaching me that, because I don't hate any person. It feels good to not have any resentment, and you just have understanding. And I want to thank God for that too, because that came with a lot of growth and spiritual maturity, because it's hard having something that a lot of people don't understand, you know, and they kind of just look at you, which kind of leads to the next part, right? Actually, before I say that, I started this when I was 25 years old. I'm 27 now. So being in my 20s at the age that I'm at, I dealt with a lot of trials, and, you know, being younger in this new world, you know, the church, and just kind of seeing how people will approach you and how Satan will try to use people in disguise to try to grab you and take you in to deceive you. This is why God had me wait at least 6 to 7 months before my first actual one-on-one fellowship. He was protecting me as he taught me, because he knew what was going to happen. So I am thankful for God for patience and protection, and really teaching me patience and caution when speaking to people. So yeah, he didn't let me speak to everybody for protection. And if he did let me speak to somebody, it was an assignment, or it was just a long-term thing, or whatever. You know, I'm grateful for it all because it helped my growth. But as time went on, I began to see like there were people watching me that really wanted things to be wrong. And I noticed, you know, I would never forget when God was trying to teach me how to rest. And for me being a human, and sometimes people forget that you're human, you know, I wasn't listening properly to what God was saying and took something in the wrong way while trying to rest. And then that opened up Satan's attacks even more on me, because I was in a vulnerable state and I needed to rest. And that taught me the importance of spiritual rest and physical rest, you know, the difference. And that was just, I'm thankful for and grateful for that, because it really taught me the importance of just, okay, put this down and really rest in the Lord, because you got to do it. You can't just keep going, as he was giving me more responsibility. So I was grateful for that. But I just noticed that there was a lot of people that really wanted to see me fail, or just something to be wrong with me. And they still do. You know, even, and we'll talk about the summer of trials for me, because a lot of people don't really know the behind the scenes for me and how much I got attacked. And, oh, that portion, just thinking about all of that and how the enemy just threw all his cards on the table to try to break me down was insane. But yeah, a lot of people, from what I've been seeing, have been waiting for me to fall, fail, and not be, I guess, as transparent as I am. I guess it's for show to some people, you know, even because they don't understand how God shows me things, or it's just not real to people because they don't understand it, or they don't want it to be because they don't like me. And then there's just influence from Satan altogether, you know. But yeah, back to age. One thing that the enemy tried to do when God gave me more responsibility correction-wise, you know, that started around October last year. And I knew it because he had given me my first courts of heaven scene pretty intense. And I knew then that was a new level for me. And I had a lot of conflict and a lot of encounters that were not the most positive, but they were not bad. I don't want to say bad because they all assisted in my growth and understanding. So yeah, I had a lot of people in the church, or even when you want to call the wealth transfer community, looking at me crazy because of the things God had me do. But a lot of people would try to throw my age in the equation. And it got to the point where these lying spirits and Satan would then acknowledge the fact that I do have a calling and God has given this to me, but it's because of my age that doesn't make me qualified to do what God called me to do. Or I just need to grow up some more because of X, Y, and Z. So taking another person's response to what God said through me and making it seem like, oh, there's always conflict around you. You know, you need to grow up some more. So age was something that Satan started to capitalize on to try to make me not look legit from God, which is silly and ridiculous if you read the word of God. But, you know, that wasn't something that bothered me. It was just kind of a silly thing. I was like, okay. But then things got a little bit more intense. And let's talk about the summer of trials real quick, because I was pretty transparent with y'all the whole way through. But months later, looking back at it, I do want to talk about this because Satan really did try to damage my character a lot. He attacked my health. Attacks was coming through my family. I told y'all I had a big talk about my calling with them, and it just did not go well. So back in the spring, after I was kind of finishing up the last set of calls, I didn't know I was going to go through all this, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, like I was having issues, and I was explaining that to y'all, speaking life and so forth. So that was one way. And I ended up canceling insurance and everything. I said, you know what, God got this, and it subsided. And yeah, then, you know, I have people putting witchcraft over me and word curses over me. So I would share that with y'all. And I was protected from that and have to bind and rebuke and be consistent in prayer. Nothing too bad, but that was still a factor, you know, that the enemy is consistently trying to attack me in all directions. But yeah, just continuing forward as the summer approaches, around my mom's birthday, I remember sharing with y'all a very transparent situation where the enemy, and my parents are great. I love my parents. I have respect for them. They've done a lot for me. So I understand why they don't understand my calling and so forth, you know, because to them it doesn't look normal. And I get it, but God is going to show them. So I don't have any resentment, and I thank God for teaching me why this happens. You know, I don't get mad. I don't get upset like I did when I first started. I get it, you know, and I still love them. And we don't have a bad relationship. I just pray they see one day, and I know they will, who I am in the Father. But yeah, with my mom, there was an open gateway. And I'll never forget, it was on her and my best friend's birthday. And this was the first time that my friend was with us when the enemy would start cutting up through my mom. And I mean, we couldn't go nowhere. We were leaving, you know, this gathering, or not gathering. It was an event for their birthdays. And that's when the Satanic Rebellion decided they wanted to come party and act a fool. That tested my patience a lot, because my friend I had never had that happen with anybody else there with me. So that made me even more upset about it, but I had to dial back and keep my patience. Thank God, right? But I passed that test. Now, around that same time, I was getting attacked through dream, and Satan was threatening me through dream. And then about a week or so after that is where things really spiraled up and kicked off and tested my patience like no other, where Satan falsely accused me and took upon it himself to try to break my character down. Ladies and gentlemen, looking back on everything that was happening to me and how God helped me through that and how it shifted and grew me, I can't tell you how thankful I am for him. Because only God can pull us through situations and give us the clear understanding. But see, here's what was happening on top of that. I had people reaching out to me for the wrong reasons that God warned me about. So imagine people that told you that you weren't of God and then hit you with God is with you or God loves you out of the blue. But God warned you about the people. You just didn't know how they were coming back. Then that wasn't it. Remember how we talk about Paul and lying spirits trying to bait him through the girl, the spirit of divination, and he casted the demon out of her, and him and Silas got arrested? It was a similar situation where a person was admitting to truth about something God talked about, and I could have bit the bait, and that could have started up a whole new thing. And I mean, this spirit and this person was consistent on wanting to talk to me, and I was not having it. And then the spirit tried to go openly and say something contrary to what was said privately. I mean, trying his hardest. So I got people trying to contact me for the wrong reasons. I got these spirits trying to get me to bite the bait. My character is getting tarnished, you know, and now I'm being attacked openly through, you know, comments of people who just don't know what's happening, right? Then, you know, you get your parents that don't understand your calling. I had people that I was realizing what God was showing me that was around me, but he had me on assignment. So it wasn't like I was taking it upon myself to be around just anybody. They were all there for a reason. And I'm just watching like things not be received. So that was kind of hard for me because I do care. And, you know, one thing too that I wasn't sharing and transparent about, that the Lord has let me share briefly, is in a moment it kind of felt like I was trying to give what God gave me to each person. And you know how you can feel you just being looked at a certain way? Like, you know, based on how a person will respond or how they will say certain things. And it was just things that was happening. I was like, what? Like, okay, Father, like, there's no point in me even doing this. You told me and showed me each side where people were looking at me a certain way. You know, and it wasn't like anything bad that would cause anger or anything. It was just understanding. And I said, I got to let them go. Or I got to step away because people are still in agreement with things that they shouldn't be. And I take my walk very serious. And when it's time for them to find out, it'll be time for them to find out. But all that's happening behind the scenes and in the open, and I'm getting attacked, you know, just in that moment, Satan was really trying to get me to step out of character and get upset openly. He was trying to get me to break down, I guess, but it just never happened. And when I look back on all of this months and months and months later, ladies and gentlemen, like, I can't say nothing but thank you, God. Y'all wouldn't even imagine the amount of word curses on top of everything that the enemy tried to put upon me. It was actually insane. Whether it came from emails, I had people literally trying to throw certain things in my face via email. I'm like, dude, is this real right now? I mean, even people you spoke to everywhere, like death, witchcraft. And you know what? I am so thankful for all of it. Because in this moment, after just all the trial, I'm talking even as far as back as last October. From there to now is when it all kicked off. I had to endure being disrespected blatantly by people, yelled at in my ear, forgave it all and kept pushing. Some crazy stuff said about me. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, because this is why I'm sharing this. A lot of people say, I want to have what you got. Look what I went through. You got to learn how to surrender to God, because he kept me steady, rock solid. And now I am peaceful and I am happier than I was even before that stuff happened to me. I'm peaceful. And I can't thank God enough, because after it happened, it was like the revelation got deeper, things shifted positively for me, and I just understanding just got so much better. So I thank God for allowing me to go through trials, allowing my character to be tarnished on multiple occasions, allowing, you know, me to go through things with my family so he could come in and heal things I wasn't even thinking about. because this calling is not light. And I know when I get moved to that next level, I know people going to do way worse. Satan going to try to stop me until the end. But he can't. And this is just what I want to tell y'all. I don't care what y'all are going through. I done been through a lot, and it don't even feel like it. I don't feel no weight because God holds that up. He's strong, okay? God is the strongest of them all. He's a God, the one and only, and you better know it. So stop tripping and dipping, because God has held that weight. I don't feel it. I don't feel no weight. I feel peace. I feel happiness. And I'm so grateful for God for being here and growing me and giving me understanding. I don't have hate for a single person. I understand what the enemy's doing, like, and just at the age that I'm at, being able to represent God and live my life helping other people, no matter what the enemy tries to do. I cannot tell you how grateful I am and how thankful I am. I can say it 100 times. So understand, no matter what you're going through, is to bring you out of what God needed you to get rid of, because it's going to better you for the rough times to come. You're going to have understanding. You're not going to be ready to cuss that person out and get mad at that person that tries to spit in your face because you say you love Jesus and they called you a Jesus freak. You know what? I want to end this message off by saying this. I love you, Father. You are Mr. Suddenly. You are my best friend. You are my everything. God, before I had anybody, you were there for me, and I just cannot express how much I love you. Y'all, I love God so much. And I cannot wait to see him, and even just feeling his heart. I can't tell you how much I love God and how much he's pulled me through. And to just almost feel like it was nothing. Or like it didn't happen. I don't even know how to explain this, but I'm thankful for God. And I'm going to say this. God gave me Sammy B for the light. He know me. And I cannot wait for the light in my life that he's being in it to shine like greater than what it already has. You know, even the enemy is blown away, shocked, and stunned that I am still rocking and rolling, and I'm happy doing it, even through the tests and trials. And I told y'all before, when it comes to that satanic rebellion, they better watch out, because I know who I am in my Father's eyes even more so, and way more confidently than when I first started. And I just appreciate and thank everybody who's watched me, even if you just started. But from the beginning, y'all have seen the growth. And I'll continue to say this to those that, you know, decide to email me crazy stuff. And, you know, just try to, I don't even know what they be on. They on some different stuff. But for those that's, again, waiting for me to fail, I appreciate you so much, because you are part of the reason, besides God, you know, it's motivation for me even more to do what I'm called to do. I appreciate you. And you are very welcome to watch my journey grow. And maybe your heart will change over the course of time. I pray it does. Because all you're going to see is light that shines brighter and brighter and brighter. And I ain't just talking about the lights, you know, the rainbows, God's glory I be showing y'all when I wake up. And he always surprised me with it. I'm talking about when he pour out that spirit on all flesh. You're going to find out. And I told you back not 2 years ago, about a year ago, while y'all looking to watch this journey not be true, not be authentic, not be real, you keep waiting, because you're going to be waiting a very long time. Very long time. Because having God has been the best thing in my life. And I'm looking forward for God to show everybody what he sees in not just me, but what he sees in you. And I pray everybody can feel this and see this one day in themselves. Because to know who you are in Christ, even a little bit, it's a life changer. Don't let Satan push you around, because he'll never push me. Never. And the best way to let him know what's up sit in peace and happiness, and smile through the trial. I do it every day. So I love y'all, and thank you for listening to this transparency message. And God, I love you so much. I cannot wait to do the next and just be who you called me to be, because I know it's different. And I accept it. I honor it. And we're going to get it done in these end times. That story going to get written. It's going to be quite the crazy. Peace and blessings, and I will catch y'all in the next one.